hear this, you are not alone. This is the resistance.
That way.
See, the more money I have, the more money I give away. It's not the more things I buy with it. Me and my wife, we discuss this all the time. We think we're here to help people, and that's our true belief. I mean, we help people all the time. And just because we have money doesn't mean that we're going to keep it to ourselves and be selfish with it. Yes, we have financial issues sometimes, and we do have to keep that money to ourselves, but that's just so that we can support our family and help ourselves first. Because if we're not helping ourselves, how can we help others?
Exactly.
And in that terminology, if more people thought that way, then there would be, once again, betterment of society. You know, if people need to think that way more. We've taken my mom in, who was a habitual drinker, and we helped her turn her life around. She's getting out of her program tomorrow. You know, we housed her for going on, how long, babe? 4 years?
No, almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. Okay, and you know, we tried to help her as much as we could, but there again comes in the saying, you can't help those that don't want to help themselves. Finally, she got her head on straight. She wants to help herself. She enrolled herself into this program. She's doing better. You know, we helped her get on that path. My brother, who for a long time was on the streets, you know, I got him off the streets. I got him off of drugs. I helped him get his life straight. Now he's a cross-country truck driver. He makes more money than I do. In fact, he makes $1,000 a week more money than I do. You know, he needed a little bit of help. We helped him, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that the more money I have,
that ideology.
Yeah. Well, in my personal opinion, most people wouldn't think that way, but
you'd be surprised. A lot of people do that way and think that more people should feel that way. You know, that's if people had that type of mindset, I think the world would probably be a much better place. Not to say that Patrick here didn't have his faults, because he does.
Yes, I do.
He's only human. But we love him. We forgive him. That's good. But he is right. People should strive to be the better of themselves. And that's one reason why I don't really care for the ideologies of religion. I don't believe that you need the threat of eternal damnation or the promise of eternal rewards in order to be a good person. I think that you should want to be a good person because that's the right thing to do.
But it's incentive. It's incentive to choose right over wrong, though. Too, you got to take into consideration it coming from a religious standpoint.
Yeah.
We are God's children, and in order to motivate a child, you have to motivate them with positive and with negative consequences for their actions. In order to be a proper parent, and that's where that whole spiel comes in.
Yeah.
In order, you gotta reinforce positively as much as possible. If you can't do that, then you need to
implement punishment.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know, look at society in general. Even you've got people who do good and they do bad regardless of the rewards or consequences. You got criminals out there; they don't care about the laws and the consequences of their actions. No. They do what they want because they want. And, you know, I think, personally, it's a personal belief of mine, that if you need to punish, the threat of punishment or the incentive of a reward in order to be a good person, then you're probably not a good person. Not to say that all people who believe in the religion or believe in those principles are bad people. I'm just saying, if that's your only motivation to do the right thing, that's pretty sad.
But who teaches the kids to do right and wrong? The people who already know right from wrong, right? So in order to teach somebody right from wrong, you have to implement punishment. You have to implement positive reward, no matter what, because children are not born into this world all-knowing. They don't know right from wrong. They're completely innocent. They're truly innocent beings. Animals are the same way. They act on instinct, you know. But my dog, who right now is out in my garage probably baking to death, I need to bring him in. You know, when we first got him, he used to chew on everything. But you know what? He started chewing on shit. I would spank him if I told him no and he didn't do it. Then I started getting loud with him, and he knew what I was saying, so I would give him a treat for it instead, because he did what I told him. You know, and that therein is another example. Positive and negative reinforcement, you know, for everybody's actions, and that's how you learn. It's not so much an incentive as it is a learning tool.
Yeah, and you know, I know that some morals and standards differ. You know, the perception of right and wrong can sometimes be skewed depending on where you're from and what you believe. You know, like some countries still practice the murder for the crime of adultery. You know, they kill their wives if they're caught cheating, or if you steal, you
get your hand cut off.
Get your
finger
hand cut.
first, and then
you know, it just really depends on where you're from, what you believe, you know, and the level of your moral standards. Like especially in those Middle Eastern countries, women have to be fully covered. They can't wear the kind of clothes that we wear here, or else
they're considered prostitutes.
Yeah, exactly. They can't run around wearing a t-shirt and jeans. So you know, it depends on individual standards in a lot of respects, and I think that plays a big role in a lot of the problems we have in the world, because there's so much diversity in the world, and just even on an individual level, that people can't agree. And so other people, like the corrupt government officials and the folk 15 families of the New World Order, took it upon themselves to decide what's best for us, because as Obama said in that video, we're incapable of making our own decisions and governing our own lives.
Yeah, but who gives him the right to say that? And who
People
then,
by way of manipulation.
Yeah, but
just
then,
like Hitler did.
Yeah, but then who in turn is the one who appoints the person who's all powerful and all knowing, who
Well, this
controls
goes
it?
back to something I wanted to bring up earlier, and then I got the chance to bring it up. It's all manipulation. Government in itself is a fucking farce. Two-head Republican, Democrat, it's just two heads of the same fucking coin. It's a two-headed fucking snake for all intents and purposes. It's the illusion of choice. You ever seen that South Park episode where they were voting on a new mascot? That was the whole joke. Which would you vote for, the giant douche or the turd sandwich? They're both crap. They're both fucked up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Our policies and yeah, but that's where checks and balances come in. You know what I mean? Not one political aspect of our government has power over the other. They have the ability to go and check on their books and freedom of information and whatnot.
Yeah, but if those who are in power are all working towards the same agenda, which is just to totally fuck the little man, then the checks and balances are only as good as the people who enforce them.
Yeah, but there's always going to be somebody who enforces them no matter what.
Yeah, well, Connor and I discussed this during our phone interview, that there are good and bad people in the world. And that goes for individual people, police, military, and even government officials.
This is a frequently asked questions on even employment applications. Do you believe that people are mostly good?
That is a good question, and I honestly wish I had an answer. I do.
This tells you what kind of mental set you have too, and this will tell you as to what you really truly believe about people.
Well,
people in general. Do you believe that people are mostly good?
I try to believe that there is good in everybody.
But do you believe that there's more good than bad out there?
Based on my observations, yes. There are many good people, and like I was saying before when I was talking to Connor, there are good and bad. There's good and bad in everything. And I don't believe that evil is born. I think it is created. I think maybe everybody starts out inherently good. But like you said, it depends on how they're brought up.
I believe that people are mostly good and that almost everybody is good. It's just people that are too lazy to implement
change.
To implement that good action. You know what I mean? For instance, you see somebody broke down on the side of the road. Do you stop, ask them if they need help, or do you keep driving because you're too busy to fucking disrupt your life for somebody else's problems?
the only means necessary for evil is triumph for good men
To do nothing, exactly.
And that's a good point. You know, there have been a lot of good points brought up here, but if we keep going with this, we're gonna make this a year-long video series. But you know, we can keep on debating this, but I think we've definitely prompted some people to start thinking. So go ahead, everybody who has been watching this video series, leave your comments in the box below, and let's see where this goes. I want to see what kind of thinking that this generates. I want to hear your guys' comments. I want to hear your guys' feedback on my thoughts and Lucid's thoughts here. Let's start thinking and start waking up, people. This is Tinman with the Resistance, here with my good buddy Patrick, aka Lucid. If you're watching this, you are the Resistance.